AEW Fight Forever has recently advertised Season 4, which features new DLC such as adding Adam Copeland, Jay White, and Samoa Joe. This season came with other releases like 2 new arenas, 30 new movesets, over 50 new custom attires, 10 music tracks, a stadium stampede, and an all-new tournament. All of that is available for an additional $19.99, including the retail price of the game if you don't already have it. Let's keep in mind that it is an add-on and not the complete package, which isn't economically friendly to many of us who have waited for another non-WWE game to be released. AEW Fight Forever's release date came just last year on June 23rd. Many of us came with high expectations given how long it took for them to build it. We've heard rumors that they invested a lot of their resources in trying to produce their first ever game. While we didn't know what to expect, when the game dropped, it was like getting that brand new toy. It was new and fresh. It was AEW's first game. It was developed by Ukes, who's formerly developed WWE games in the past. Unfortunately, the game met with plenty of criticisms about how unsatisfactory it is. It felt incomplete, and it was probably done that way to prevent the fans from losing anticipation and hope. As I mentioned earlier, Season 4 was recently released, meaning there are 4 seasons to AEW Fight Forever. As a gaming consumer, what seems worth investing in? The selected packages or the entire season? Please comment on what you would choose down below. But personally, I wouldn't want to keep buying new season passes. I just want a complete game where I play my way into unlockables. But I digress. The game just seems like it's financially taxing. Each season varies in prices as well as in the individual bundles. At this point, if you're about to purchase a game and you want everything, you might as well go for the Ultimate Edition, which goes up to $100. Imagine spending $100 on a game that is based on the graphics alone. You wouldn't be convinced to spend that much. In addition to that, the ratings are terrible.
Not even one of AEW's top YouTuber fans
Can defend it, so he plays WWE or FIFA at most each time he streams. Anyway, to add on, the comment section on every AEW Fight Forever ad is either very critical or negative, with hardly any positives. According to GamesIndustries.biz, AEW Fight Forever's debut came in 3rd place on the UK box charts, while Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came in at 1st place. This isn't surprising, but it's obvious the debut made an impact because AEW's official game was finally released. From there, the reception of the game was mixed and average, which caused it to decline over time due to the overhype. If this is the impression that AEW Fight Forever made, then that is daunting. It reminds me of another non-WWE game that made it to the popular consoles that is based on TNA Impact. This game was released in late 2008. I say this because each release date was different depending on the console. Speaking of consoles, I might just make you all feel old with these reminders, but the TNA Impact game was released on consoles such as a PS2 and PS3, Xbox, and the Wii, the earlier version that had the motion sensors. This game was developed by Midway Studios, who, alas, are not around anymore. This game was limited, but it was honestly expected. It's TNA, bruh. Ain't no way it was going to compete against the WWE games. On the other hand, the match types that were synonymous with TNA's identity are what made the game special. An example would be the Ultimate X match, which would be one of the favorites in the game due to the anticipation and the engaging minigame that came along with it. Along with that was an interesting way to execute the finisher, as the impact meter would determine whether the match would be over. In addition to that, the story mode was very engaging because it revolved around one character. Think of it as a road to WrestleMania, but in this game it was a road to redemption. It was about a mysterious masked wrestler named Susan who was rising in the ranks until he was placed in a predicament that would alter his career and his life forever. In my experience, I played this game with the PS2 console, so I had limited features. If any of you ever played this game with the other consoles I mentioned earlier, you had the ability to customize Suicide's look as he bounces back to the dance to rediscover himself. Based on my research, PS3 and Xbox offer downloadable characters like Curryman and Petey Williams, which makes TNA Impact the first pro wrestling game in history to offer this service. Throughout the story, the player obtains more unlockables, which honestly are just wrestlers you had matches with during your quest. Fun fact, Suicide became a real-life character within the TNA Impact banner as they unveiled the Masked Man live on their pay-per-view program, Final Resolution 2008, interrupting Motor City Machine Guns. The concept was cool, but how it was managed is up to debate. Another downside about this game is that no knockouts were available to play. When preparing the match, we would only see Christy Hemme on the loading screen. This game received mixed and average reviews, but what was there to expect? TNA never had financial backing like AEW. The reviews were much poorer under the Wii console due to the controls and how it visually lacked. However, with the other consoles, TNA Impact was praised for its realistic graphics and the simple control scheme. As I mentioned earlier, the game was limited by having short entrances, a lack of championship titles, inconsistent AI, and repetitive movesets. While this may be true, I can attest that I used to do repetitive high dropkicks playing as AJ Styles. I'm not kidding. It was a fun game overall. It was refreshing compared to the SmackDown vs. Raw series back in the day. In fact, from its release date up to February 2009, TNA Impact has shipped 1 million units, whereas AEW Fight Forever shipped around 650,000 units almost a year from its release date. This shows that in half of a year, TNA Impact games sold more than AEW Fight Forever did in nearly a year. The amount of games sold speaks volumes of fans' faith in both promotions. When TNA was at its peak, it had stars such as Kurt Angle, Booker T, Sting, and Christian Cage, along with the OGs like AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Samoa Joe, in addition to features such as the Dudley Boyz and Rhino. The roster felt so complete and fresh that you couldn't help but be a part of the new movement. At the same time, the anticipation of playing as your favorite AEW wrestler was a long time awaiting. We all wanted to play AEW's new game to witness professional wrestling's merchandising at its peak. Unfortunately, not only was the postponement of Fight Forever the reason why it killed its anticipation, but the way the quality in which the game was released disappointed many. Which begs the question, is AEW Fight Forever overhyped? Comment what you think down below.